better, flatter pitch now. A couple of extra days in the sunshine. That fresh bit of grass has died off a little bit and certainly has the characteristics of a normal high-scoring Taunton pitch. Carlson, thick edges one down to third man. Average bit of fielding there. Real rare misfield for the Somerset lineup.
Bit harsh, Peter. It was flying, wasn't it?
No,
done well to get there now.
No, he's missed that and need it for 4. That's very unusual for
Will Smeed, isn't it?
a fielder of Will Smeed's quality. I'm not having that.
No, you're okay. I like that. Keep the standards high. Saying earlier how Reece Topley was so impressed, saying how good the Somerset fielders was on the Friday night blast on Friday night, and Somerset are young and athletic.
There's a man stood behind me now that he wouldn't have missed that one. Johan Myberg. He'd have whizzed across. He'd have caught that in the cheeks of his backside, thrown it in, had the bails off in a flash.
Yeah, still remember that 100 against Essex, whacking it everywhere, leaving Tom Banton standing on what 20 odd at the other end. Still remember that. Cracking knock.
Oh, Craig Overton into Byron, a inside edge. Nothing you can do about that. 4 more runs, and sometimes in this crazy game we play, you get edges like that, you just know it's your night. Eddie Byron is off to an absolute flyer at the moment.
Right, I'm going to let Johan Myberg himself come on and chat to you, Pete.
What an absolute treat. Johan Myberg had a fantastic first-class career. Spent a number of years down here at Somerset, was a real fan favourite, especially the way that he evolved his game, smashing the ball everywhere as an opening batter in limited overs cricket. Scored a majestic 100 down here. How are you, Mibes?
Nice to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you, mate. It's almost like looking in the mirror. You've got the grey beard happening as well.
Yeah, that happens when you get into coaching, Pete.
The stress.
Yeah, the stress. I think it's quite nice sitting up here and just watching a game of cricket.
Well, your team, the Southeast Stars, that you're now coaching at the moment, got over the line. A tight game against the Western Storm. So yeah, that would have put a few grey hairs into the beard. That's for sure. It's still the same buzz when you win, when you're on the other side of the rope.
Yeah, it's enjoyable winning games of cricket, especially the close ones. So no, it was a nice one to be involved in.
Excellent. Hopefully the atmosphere at the back of the commentary room with Sophie isn't too frosty. She played beautifully. Just a shame she didn't have any backup down the other end. Craig Overton really picking his knees up. One of the scoops. How do you defend against these sort of scoops? What a fantastic bit of ingenuity. If that's even a word. I think that's 6 runs. Pete Siddle, one of the most honest cricketers around, giving the opposition the bullhorns out. It's gone all the way for 6. I mean, Mipes, I have to admit, scooping as a bowler, that used to drive me up the wall. So hard to defend against someone who's got that 360 game.
Yeah, it is, Pete. I've certainly played it a different year. I try to square up cricket. I was going to say that.
Some high skill on show, that is for sure. I mean, now that you're on the other side, like myself, brought up in a similar era, play in the V, square of the wicket, cut shots, pull shots, straight drives. Have you had to really sort of have one of the, a period of rethinking your game? When with the scoops and all the shots that players are trying to play these days.
I think it's just now become such a natural part of the game. It's fantastic. It's hard to defend. I mean, as you know, when you're playing, you're always looking for the spaces and where opportunities to score. And I mean, obviously, if you look back at it now, when we played, and it was a bit different, there were quite often these spaces in behind the wicket. So for players to be able to get the ball there and to move fielders around is the art of batting.
Yeah, certainly is a real headache. Craig Overton in. Quite high on the bat, but it's gone miles back into the James Hildreth stand. Carlson dispatching Somerset's premier bowler out of the park. 6, Glamorgan are off to an absolute flyer. What a brilliant start from them. Somerset are up against it. 52 for 1 off of 5 overs. I'd say you have to, you know, the characteristics of Taunton, you'd say that sort of 10 and over in the power play is par.
Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. It looks like a good wicket. Certainly a nice pace in it, but no real lateral movement. So if you're a batter in this power play, you can look to use the pace, you can look to use the bounce to your advantage, and it does open up a lot of scoring areas. So it does look like a really good wicket.
Yeah, it certainly does. The same wicket, Mibes, that Somerset played Hampshire on a couple of days ago on Wednesday. Bowled them out for 75. Totally different game. You know, there was a tinge of green. Henry and Overton bowled absolutely beautiful. Ripped out the top order in the first couple of overs. Really, I think Overton got 3 for 8 in his 4 overs that he bowled straight through with a new ball. So, you know, those few days in the sunshine, you know, the game that the Storm and the Stars have just played on has probably, you know, baked it out. So yeah, it looks like an absolute batting paradise. I don't think there are too many places in the world where you prefer to bat than Taunton, Mibes.
No, it's a lovely place to bat, especially in front of this crowd. It'll be nice later on in the chase.
Yeah, the Thatcher cider's flowing, that's for sure. Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening at Taunton. It's almost one of those bucket list things that you've got to do as a cricket fan. Glamorgan 52 for 1 here. Ex-Somerset player Eddie Byron off to a flyer, 32 off of 16 balls. And even I can do the equation there, striking at 200. Peter Siddle with a beautiful Yorker. Not much he can do with that. Showing his experience. That's sometimes a real benefit of experience. Pete Siddle probably not as quick as he used to be now, but I think with how many games of cricket he's played, he's been in every situation you could imagine. He's just got that little bit of calm about him, hasn't he? Just to execute, do what needs to be done, and try and get out of a difficult period here. The 6th over is notoriously one of the hardest to bowl in 2020 cricket. And no shock that Lewis Gregory has decided to give it to Peter Siddle. Another brilliant ball right up in the block hole there, out to Ralof van der Merwe.
Yeah, a little bit of old school bowling there, Pete. Just keeping it real simple. Going to his Yorkers, which, you know, sometimes as a T20 opening batter, I felt that bowlers didn't utilise that tactic or quite often enough. So, you know, that 6th over is a tough one. He's very experienced, but he's just keeping it pretty old school and going really full, trying to get under the bat, and it's worked so far this over.
Yeah, I suppose if anything, if you do nail the Yorker length, you control the areas that you can be hit. Unless they execute a scoop, there's not really too many places you're going to get hit, as we've seen, but he's still under a bit of pressure. 2 balls left in this power play, and he nails the block hole again. Peter Siddle, fantastic piece of bowling there. What a crucial over he's bowled so far. Looks like for his troubles, he's got a bit of a southwest fly in the eye.
Yeah, either that or a little bit of dust. Yeah, superb over so far. Peter Siddle, like you said, Pete, very difficult over to bowl, and he's executing his tactics and his game plan superbly. You know, they've kept the field up at the back and kept the leg side field out, and he's bowling superbly well to it.
Yeah, what a quality player at the end of this over. A little look at an advert from our sponsors here at Somerset County Cricket Club, Virtue Motors. That last ball going for 4 has kind of spoilt it, but Virtue Motors have sponsored our magnificent ingrain radios for those who have purchased them. £20 or something like that. Last for 3 years, and you can listen to me and Mibes and lots of our colleagues waffle on about the cricket and have a great time.
Here we go.
A change of pace here at Somerset. No surprise the way the power play went. Lewis Gregory has gone immediately to spin, and the experienced Ralof van der Merwe, who's been bowling magnificently the last 12 months all around the world. Different surfaces, Ralof seems to come up with the goods. I have actually spoke to him about this celebration that keeps on going around the place. So I was telling him he needs to change it up a little bit. I'm seeing it too often. Ralof, one of the most exuberant celebrators in world cricket. What a great teammate he was for us, Mibes.
Yeah, superb. One of the best teammates I've certainly played with, and great competitor.
Trying to get the ball into the block hole. Slog sweep from Carlson. Out to Tom Abel there, who's a deep mid-wicket, rapid across the outfield. Great athlete. Tom Abel, great to see him back after his hamstring injury, but every bowler at the moment is under a lot of pressure. A lot of big shots being played. Eddie Byron looking to go big. It's a nice back cut straight to Lewis Gregory.
Ruler will just bowl nice and straight, won't he, Pete? He'll just try and cramp the batters for room and use his experience to.
I think, yeah. Not many bowlers do left arm and round the wicket. They often sort of slide it in on the angle, but Ralof likes to go round the wicket and sort of bowl it into the back of the ankles, trying to take away the hands, change his pace up, the occasional sort of ball where he takes a lot of pace off and then he darts it into the heel, which is difficult to get under, and he's very, very good at it. Again, limiting the Glamorgan players to certain shots. Nice bit of fielding out there in the deep. Carlson will pick up another 2. A good little clutch back the last 10 balls or so for the Somerset bowlers, and no surprise the senior statesman of the attack, Siddle and Van der Merwe, doing a great job.
Yeah, those type of overs really impact the game of cricket in T20, so important this ball.
Brilliant piece of bowling from Ralof van der Merwe. I think he plays that, you miss, I hit game, doesn't he? When he bowls, he looks to get underneath the bat. Doesn't look to spin it too hard. Just try and undercut, slide the ball. Very, very wily cricketer, and we're going to see another bit of a change up of pace here. Slightly off pace, medium pacer in Ben Green now. Bowls a lot of cutters into the pitch, a lot of slower balls. He's making himself into a very sort of three-dimensional cricketer over the last few years. Played some great knocks in one-day cricket over the last few years. Some really important knocks down the lower middle order. And I think he's found his niche as a bowler now, bowling a lot of change-ups, a little bit, in the Benny Howell sort of mould. Lots of knuckleballs and off-cutters, and trying to sort of, add a bit of sort of skill and nous to his game. And he's become a pretty useful player.
You would have bowled a few of those middle overs, medium pace speed in T20 cricket. What would have been going through your head right now?
Panic? No. Yeah, I think. Well, you've got a choice, haven't you? I mean, I think it was different. 10, 15 years ago, you always used to start with, top of the stumps, hard length, give the batter no width, and I was always, in any form of cricket that I always played in, I always used to like to react to what I'm seeing in front of me, because even though you might see all the stats of players scoring certain areas, some days they just, I don't know, they see it well and they punish you in a different area. I used to like to react on what the bowler was doing. So if hard length wasn't working, you'd go to something else. But if it was, I always used to like to stick to the A plan and kind of react accordingly. But ultimately, you've got to go Yorkers and slower balls as a medium pacer. I don't think you have too much else at your disposal, especially on a small ground like Taunton. Ben Green looks like he's going the Yorker mode, and he's done very well so far.
He certainly started off just like that, Pete. He's bowled full and straight, thrown a slower ball in there early. So batter is aware that he's going to be changing up his pace. Just trying to make it hard for batters to get set, really. That's the key thing on a good surface like this, because batters will be targeting certain areas with lack of pace.
Yeah, with the pitch slightly on the left side as we're looking at it on the square, that Somerset stand is quite an inviting boundary for a left-hander. So I think Eddie Byron will be playing a numbers game here. He knows that if Ben Green misses his length, it's almost a free hit into that leg side. So that's what he'll be banking on. So he'll be under a bit of pressure to execute Ben Green, but he's done brilliantly for the first 4 balls of his spell. Missed out there, the batter, little full bunger, swatted into the leg side. Good piece of fielding out there by the left-handed Tom Lammonby. And I think it's now, this is where you always used to feel a bit of a tension. You bowled a good 5 balls, especially when you had JL staring down at you. You knew that you had to finish the over well, because you know you can win or lose the over in this ball. So big ball of the over. Somerset have done well to clutch it back the last 3 overs. And Ben Green has bowled a poorly directed full toss into the leg side. And Glamorgan probably take the honours in that over on the last ball, exactly as I sadly predicted.
Yeah, it's a shame, Pete. I thought Somerset bowlers did well those well, except for that last ball, to just to drag the game back. We know it's not an easy place to defend, so you know whatever score you can keep the Glamorgan side to, it's certainly chaseable on this wicket. So it is a shame that last boundary, but I thought up to that a little bit of control by the Somerset bowlers in terms of where the ball was going.
Yeah, you're permanently under pressure in this game, no doubt about it. Just a bit of execution there. Not the end of the world, but an over that Somerset were winning. Let's slide there on that last ball. 70 for 1 off of 8 overs at the moment. Rolf van der Merwe continuing. Sorry, it was Thatcher's what? Thatcher's stand, Thatcher's. I think that's again, Mives, when you look at Lewis Gregory, I think he's using his attributes in terms of his bowling attack really well. Started with the attacking bowlers. Craig Overton bowled beautifully, took a little bit of damage. Matt Henry took a bit of punishment off Eddie Byron, who played beautifully. But Rolf van der Merwe is the go-to guy, and I was just about to say the experience is where you go to as a captain. And van der Merwe comes up trumps. You miss, I hit. But this time, right on the shoe of Eddie Byron, and Somerset will be very, very happy to see the back of the former Somerset player. Again, calm, collected, executing, all the things that you would probably describe Rolf van der Merwe as being.
Exactly, Pete. And he obviously didn't listen to you, because the same celebration. Happy to see that.
Well, he's a one-trick pony, do you know what I mean? I'm going to have a word. I'll send him a message later. Just, come on, change it up. At least he's no Max Waller doing the Conor McGregor walk celebrations and all those kind of things. As we see the replay of this LBW, full, just maybe pit. Yeah, I think because he's changed around, there's no outside the line or anything like that. So I think that's a fair shout of being pretty stone dead. Well bowled, Rolf van der Merwe. 72 for 1. Happy to see the back of Eddie Byron for 42. A well played 42.
Yeah.
But now the dangerous Colin Ingram to the crease.
Yeah, Eddie played a good innings there. So important wicket by Rolf to get him out. And yeah, Colin is a dangerous player, but someone that you can squeeze in the beginning.
He played a fair bit of cricket with and against Colin Ingram. He's a guy that he feels like he's a momentum player. If he gets into a flow of runs, game to game, he becomes very dangerous towards the back end of a competition.
Yeah, strong hitter of the cricket ball.